And we're going to be switching gears now to a very, very important conversation. The proposed Palestine House South Africa Center for Human Rights in Sherwood, Durban has become the center of a growing dispute between its organizers and local residents. This is why Palestine House says the project will serve as a space for human rights, education, youth empowerment, art exhibitions, and community engagement. But the Sherwood Residents Association has raised serious concerns over planning approvals, rezoning, trafficking management, and what it says has been a lack of consultation. Palestine House insists it is following the necessary legal processes, and at that center will only begin operating once approvals are in place. And we're going to be unpacking if there's something deeper to this. We'll be speaking to Spokesperson and Trustee for the Palestine House South Africa, Shabnam Palesa Mohamed, very, very good friend of the show, and someone who's on this end of the mic a few times. I'm sure you've heard her voice on air, but she's joining us via our virtual platform this time around. Palesa, Shabnam Mohamed, Salaam alaikum. Welcome to News and Views.
Wa alaikum salam, Sanbunani. What an honor to be back with the family at Salam Media.
No, pleasure is all ours. And I want to jump right into it. The Sherwood Residents Challenge to Palestine House. I think for our listeners, who might not be familiar with Palestine House and Palestine House South Africa's ambitions, first and foremost, I think we can begin the conversation there. What is it all about?
So, Salino, let me first say I'm struggling to hear you a little bit. We've got choppy internet this morning, but if I understand correctly, it's about the mission and the vision of Palestine House?
Yes.
Right. So, Palestine House South Africa is a human rights center that is intended to be based in Sherwood, Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. And it is essentially a space that brings together people who truly believe in human rights and taking action in terms of international solidarity. Of course, as your listeners would well know, Palestine and South Africa have a long established relationship in terms of international solidarity during the days of apartheid and currently in terms of our ICJ case, amongst many other initiatives in which South Africa shows international solidarity. And so there are other Palestine houses in other parts of the world, such as London. And this will be our very own. We think it's something that's going to benefit the residents of Durban and the country very much because it has an art exhibition, indoor and outdoor. It will also have skills training in the areas of, for example, communication, leadership, human rights law, arts and culture, etc. We're also planning to have a media hub with a podcast dedicated to human rights advocacy to inspire, to educate, and to empower. And last but certainly not least, a little coffee shop with authentic Afro-Palestinian food and a library of books, not only around what's happening in our world, but what we can do about it.
And listening to that, one would think, very, very noble cause, considering the fact that, as you mentioned, South Africa has been heads and shoulders, above everyone else when it comes to Palestinian solidarity. But there's objection. The residents of Sherwood say they've not been consulted about a Palestine house being established in the area. What's your response to that? They're naming a whole lot of reasons why they're objecting to it. But I think first, let's start with why are they saying they've not been notified? They've not been told that such an establishment would be in the area.
Well, it was surprising, to be honest, to hear that position expressed in the IOL article that's led to this particular interview, the second one this morning, because when I joined Palestine House, I did participate in meetings with the Sherwood Residents Association, along with other active members and supporters of Palestine House SA, in which we openly engaged 3 representatives from the SRA around the mission and the vision of Palestine House, to which, as they said in the article, they have no objection in principle because it is a noble cause. When there were concerns expressed around things like traffic, we did say to them that we have parking. Secondly, that the bookings to attend the space, to go to Palestine House SA, would be done through online bookings via the website. So it wouldn't just be a case of where the public in large numbers can attend the space. We're very mindful of the fact that we will be existing in a largely residential community. And of course, we also said that if the municipality wants a traffic impact assessment, we'd be happy to do that as well. But we went beyond that, Salilo. We showed them building plans, and we took them on a tour of the intended space, bearing in mind we're not operating there currently. Palestine House is more than a building or a project. It is a movement. So we've been hosting activities in other parts of the city and the country, including the screening of the award-winning film, The Voice of Jab. I said it was surprising, but I think it's also, but I do want to confirm that we did engage in good faith, and we hope that the matter resolves itself as we progress. It's still a long way from completion, and we're hoping that the spirit of Ubuntu will prevail.
Those that are opposing Palestine House are making the argument, which I don't know, feel some type of way for me. They're saying, this is more about process than it is about politics. But from your perspective, do you think there's a political underhand here? Because we all know Palestine could be polarizing for some people. It shouldn't, but it is. Do you think there's that element to it, the politics of the day?
So that's a good question. I mean, the SRA had approached a DA councillor, which is interesting to say the least. Of course, Sherwood may well be a DA-run suburb, but the DA is openly Zionist and stands against the liberation of Palestine in essence and on the facts on the ground. And so therefore, to say that it's a noble cause, but to also go to a DA councillor is something that is deeply uncomfortable. The councillor said that they'd submitted questions to the municipality. The article did not mention whether the publication had in fact approached the municipality to confirm our position that in fact, we are compliant and we will comply with the municipality's rules and regulations. And at the same time, Salilo, I think I must be very honest with you and say that there has been a breakdown in the relationship because the SRA has approached the municipality and brought the DA in. But also in one of our meetings with them, I was really surprised, as were others, to hear the position of the representatives that they were concerned about the name of Palestine House and wanted us to not use the terms genocide or Holocaust in the naming of Palestine House. In other words, don't call it Durban Palestine Genocide Center or something like that, because they said it would offend the sensitivities of certain people living in the area. Now, I would leave that to your imagination as to what people they're specifically talking about. But it sounds, they were very specific about the race, let me be clear. But of course also intimating that it's people who have Zionist positions and perspectives in general. So this, I think, was what led for us to a breakdown in the relationship, because they were trying to influence our right to free speech and our role as champions of human rights, democracy, and liberation around the world. Hopefully that changes, but that's the position where we're at right now, and we're hoping that the community will see the value in a human rights center in Sherwood, in Durban, that's going to provide all of these amazing opportunities for young people and the young at heart in uplifting our country, in creating job skills and employment, and ultimately to create a kind of world in which we are interconnected. And we recognize that injustice anyway is a threat to justice everywhere.
No, most definitely. Given, how it's considered polarizing, especially in the Sherwood area, are you now not concerned that the center could be a focal point, for attacks, for protests and some unsavory behavior, which we have seen in Durban when it comes to, people that support or institutions that support Palestine? It won't be the first time. Are you now not concerned that that could be the reality if Palestine House SA is now up and running?
I mean, I think that's possible. We live in a very robust democracy, and sometimes we have people who try to take advantage of that and not really understand what people are trying to say and do before taking particular actions. And if I look at the comments on the IOL article on Facebook, for example, by and large, the majority of people, you look at the ratio, like the article and support by extension Palestine House Human Rights Center. I think some of them criticized the wording or the title of the article, and therefore there was a misinterpretation that this was going to be a place for Palestinian refugees to live in. It's not, it's a human rights center. And there were many people who corrected that misunderstanding and quoted directly from the article and said, this is what it actually is. Of course, there was a smaller number of people that either expressed or used the shock emoticon or the angry emoji, but by and large, people are in support. There are others who, because of a lack of awareness, are saying, well, what's going on here? And there's a third category that is there to deliberately stir up, divide, and conquer in our city, in our province, and in our country. It was very clear to me on an assessment of the comments. And some of them was very clear. You can see that they're trolls and bots who are just there to cause trouble. And so, yes, that's a possibility. But as people grow to understand what we are here to do, which is to uplift our own country and to show solidarity, not only with Palestine, but with other parts of our world that are experiencing conflict, war, genocide, injustice, occupation, including Sudan, including Congo, Bosnia, Iraq, the Native Americans who were genocided as well. We, in fact, are going to have murals around the property reflecting the struggles and the courage of people who've been dispossessed. But we're doing so with the position of inspiring people to take positive action. We are creators, we are innovators, we are builders, we are not breakers and destroyers and people who lack hope. Our optimism is eternal.
Lastly, before I let you go, Shabnam, you spoke about the breakdown in communication with the residents that are objecting Palestine House SA in Sherwood. Where are we right now? Are there plans to have conversations? Are you guys willing to, look into some of the objections that are made and almost rezone how the plan of Palestine House was initially thought out to be? Where are we? Are we having these conversations? Are we moving forward? Is this establishment going to take place?
Well, absolutely. Palestine House will be established in this space, and of course, the organization has a right to apply for the rezoning and for this human rights center that we believe is going to uplift the community. Currently, there is a breakdown in communication with the SRA. As I mentioned, it's disappointing for us that having engaged in good faith meetings and shown them the plans and taken them on a tour and responded to their questions, that they had decided to now, approach the media, which they're entitled to do, and of course approach the DA councillor, and of course a deeply problematic position on the naming of a human rights center. But like I said, hopefully the matter will resolve itself. In terms of the law, the people that are entitled to actually lodge an objection are the immediate adjacent neighbors. And so we don't want to preempt anything. When we get to that point and there are concerns that we need to address, we'll absolutely do that. But at this point, this is where we are. We don't want to preempt conclusion. And we're they come around and realize what a benefit this Human Rights Center is going to be for Sherwood and for Durban and for South Africa at large.
Oh, there you go. Shabnam Palesa Mohamed, Palestine House SA Human Rights Center Trustee. Thank you so much, and I hope we chat again soon. Really appreciate it.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
With that, we're going to take a quick break. News and views will be back with you after this.